Early voting in Iowa is already well underway, and we caught up with Pottawattamie County's Auditor Melvyn Houser to talk about the election process, security, and questions voters have been asking.
There was a question on digital driver's license. I didn't know they existed, but the DOT you can get your driver's license on your phone or even on your watch. And the question is, are those allowed as a photo ID at the polling sites? They are not. Even though you have that digital ID, you still have a paper one from the DOT, and that's what you need to show at the polling site. October 21st is a deadline for early registration, but if you don't make that deadline, you can do what they call an EDR, Election Day Registration. And what you need to do is take your proof of residency. You need proof of identification, which is your driver's license, or your voter PIN if you don't have a driver's license, and proof of residency. And then you can register at the polls and vote at the same time. We don't check citizenship papers, but at the bottom of that registration form that you fill out says they assume that everything you say is true, and if not, you're subject to a $10,500 fine and several years in penitentiary. So for anybody that thinks they want to, fraudulently vote, there's a big risk. So I think the risk really outweighs the reward that you might get for voting. So remember that. And they do find people who've voted in multiple states or multiple counties, or people who voted that weren't citizens. And if they're not citizens, they'll probably be deported when they find out, and they do find out. We are expected to have a lot of early voters. They seem to like more and more. They seem to like the early vote. I think they like apparently standing in line here more than they do standing in line at their polling precinct. So it's just a voter's choice, however they want to do it. You just have to have it in to our office by 8 o'clock on November 5th. We check the drop box about 10 till 8. Quarter to 8, and just to get whatever's in there so they can get them into the system. And that's on that Tuesday. And then I sit out there with my stopwatch, with my clock. At 8 o'clock, I lock the drop box. So if anybody wants to put one in there at 7:59, it's good. And if it's after 8 o'clock, the drop box is locked. They wouldn't even be able to bring it up to the counter. We have special industrial grade flash drives, and they bring them in, take them out of the voting machine out at the precinct, and people are always wanting an update. If we want an update, she'd have to take that flash drive out and put it into another computer in order to put it on the internet or print it out. That thing is junk. You have to throw it away. It's a one and done. You can only put it in once. If you take it out, you have to throw it away. So as those flash drives come in, we just keep tallying and tabulating until the end. Mm-hmm. If I was in the hallway, I would have to flash my badge, scan myself in 1, 2, 3 different doors. So the ballots are always locked up and secured. We don't do hand tabulations unless it's absolutely necessary. Sometimes folks, rather than filling in the oval, sometimes they'll just put a check mark, or sometimes they'll circle the oval. They don't read their directions very well. It'll kick those out. Now, we know if a voter has circled that oval, we know what their intent was. So our absentee board would fill out another ballot and fill it out properly so that voter's vote would count. The only time we really hand count is when we do an audit. So on Thursday morning, the Secretary of State will hand pick a precinct for us to audit, and we will just hand count the top race. And of course, this year will be the presidential race, and then hopefully that matches up with what was counted by the machine. And so far, over the years, they've always matched up. Yeah, there's some people who think that don't trust the machines. They think they've been hacked and manipulated somehow, and they think we should just hand count. Several entities, I think University of Rice has done a study on hand counting, and they said there's a 2 to 4% error rate in hand counting, because can you just imagine sitting down for hours and hours and hours and hours and hand counting? It's just excruciatingly boring and painful, and their mistakes are made. Our voting machines aren't connected to the internet anyway. They're plugged into a 110 volt outlet, and they have been programmed, they've been tested, and it works. Iowa is one of the top-rated election systems in the country by third-party people who study how states vote, and we're very tight and got a lot of laws to follow. We've got a lot of checks and balances, and we've always got the paper ballot if we have to. We've always got the printout of from the machine. We've always got the flash drive. So there's all kinds of backups to verify that your vote counts.
How does that feel?
It's kind of refreshing, I guess, or relaxing. I don't know. I'm looking for December 31st real hard. So it's a lot of stress. We had a really good over the years. We had a really good election deputy, and she ran a really tight ship. And she said, "I'm not going to do another presidential election. The stress is just too much. There's, whether it's the press or people asking questions, or did I do everything right? Is everything, do all our numbers match? And is everything going to work correctly?" Especially with so much circumspection, and people kind of got eyes on you all the time if we're doing it correctly. And so it gets kind of stressful. But I've got good staff here and good help, and things are so far been running pretty smoothly.